Good evening, Fernwood. It is your dizzy, decadent Neil, and then we have 10 episodes of Mary Hartman left. We're watching episode 316 from June 20th, 1977, T minus 2 weeks. That's it, 10 episodes. So let's look at last week. George Shumway has been managing his pal Mac as a pro wrestler under the moniker Bug Massacre or Bugs Massacre Slattery. He has Mac booked for a match against a formidable opponent named Svetlana. However, Mac and Svetlana met elsewhere and started to get romantic. George discovers this and has to break it to both of them that they are going to fight. Kathy Shumway has been selling sandwiches to make income for the family, but it is starting to cause her debilitating back pain. Also, Grandpa Larkin, Martha Shumway, and Kathy have all received visits from a very familiar face, and that is Barth Gimble, a down-on-his-luck showman who is also the twin brother of the late Garth Gimble. Merle Jeter was looking to oust his brother Mickey Moe from the presidential campaign, but Merle's wife Wanda pointed out that Mickey Moe was their greatest fundraising asset. Now the Jeters are both on board with keeping Mickey Moe on the campaign trail with them. Loretta Haggers has been trying to get her mind back on the music, but she can't keep her thoughts from straying to Johnny Doe, the young wild child boy they released to go back with Bigfoot. Her husband Charlie has been encouraging her to get back on that superstar track, but it's been very tough. They also get a visit from Barth Gimble, who has finagled a dinner out of them and the use of their guest room. Mary Hartman has been looking for advice and especially permission to run away with Dennis Foley. And all of the other people that she's reached out to think that it's a bad idea to tell Mary what she should do. That's up until Grandpa Larkin says she should just do the silly thing and follow her love. Then the next day, Mary's husband Tom tells her completely unasked that he knows that she is unhappy and that she should run away with Dennis Foley. Tom believes that her one chance to be happy would be to run away with Dennis. And then last Friday, the town showed up at the Capri Lounge for the match between Bugs Massacre Slattery and Svetlana the Svelte. George Shumway reminded Mac that he had everything riding on this match, so if Mac loses, the Shumways will starve. But Mac was hesitant because Svetlana has been telling him all about the troubles of her family and how much this match means to her. Barth Gimble has been coming up with new ideas for shows and also is hosting this wrestling event. And Kathy continues to hawk her sandwiches, though the pain is becoming more and more unbearable. As the match begins, Svetlana makes a silent plea to Mac. The Capri takes on a fever pitch as Svetlana takes Mac down for the first fall. Then George spurs him on as they go in for round 2, and Bug Massacre goes down again for a count of 1, 2. Then we're at the Hartman kitchen where Mary is making signs for the reunion. Tom asks her if she has thought about the things that he suggested to her last night, and she tells him that he told her to follow her dream, and her dream would be with him in that home. As Mary gets ready for the guests to arrive, there's a knock at the door, and it's a delivery boy who she rambles to awkwardly and then tips with a celery stick. Of course, the package is from Dennis, who has promised her everything she needs in the suitcase that he has sent, and that's a negligee and a one-way ticket to Niagara Falls. She stashes the suitcase and then asks Heather to be nice to the guests, and then the guests finally arrive and none of them recognize Mary at all. The party continues with Tom getting all of the attention. The guests have no idea who Mary is, even though Tom insists that she is his wife, that her name is Mary, and that she was in the same class with them. Mary then sits with a woman who seems depressed. The woman feels like she hasn't accomplished anything in her life. Mary then gets heated and tells the woman that following a dream is silly, that if a person has a home and a family, that they shouldn't need to go chasing after a dream. And the party stops and watches Mary's tirade, and especially Tom sees what Mary is saying, and that goes on until Mary's speech ends and she gets up to put down her tray. And as the guests ask Tom about his various achievements and his life, Tom notices that Mary is not there anymore, and he looks outside and calls out for her, but doesn't find her, and also doesn't notice the suitcase that she has taken with her. Everyone, last Friday had some very big events happening, so why don't we just get started right now?
Mary Hartman! Mary Hartman! Now, we've got it all straightened out. Buzz will say something about Wanda and then Merle here. But first, the Reverend Berryfield would like to speak to each of you.
Now, he's the host of the Fernwood Hallelujah Hour. He's going to want to know all about you two and your politics.
Right. Buzz, I just wanted to know one thing now. This is covered all the way out to the post office now, or...?
Well, maybe not that far, but forget about it, Merle. I'm telling you, in 3 months, you're going to be meeting the press and facing the nation.
Well, that sounds good to me.
Hey, Reverend Berryfield.
How are you?
I'm so
good
glad
to see you. Remember Wanda? How are you? Good to see you.
The Fernwood Hallelujah Hour.
Right.
Will somebody take care of those shiny forehead?
Oh, is my forehead shiny?
No,
I better check
you look
it
good.
out.
You look good. Fine.
Oh, Merle, you know who's going to be the next president of the United States?
Who?
Us. Whew, my excitement is rendering me almost paralytic.
You know, the funny thing is that you foresaw this whole thing. You remember from the first condolence visit I paid you at that loony bin? You saw the whole thing.
Honey, we were born to the Oval Office.
I can see us now, you know, touching off on nuclear weapons, being interviewed by David Frost, one thing.
Hey, here we go. Places, everyone.
I take
we
this
ready?
chair over
I
here.
got a little place over there, maybe.
Okay, sit down.
Angela, good. Here we go.
Nerves. Yeah.
Oh, me too.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Good evening, Fernwood. Let us pray. Bless this day. Amen. This evening, our show features one of the finest families in American politics. I refer, of course, to Fernwood's own mayor, Merle Jeter, and his lovely wife, Wanda.
Thank you, Reverend. Speaking for Wanda and myself, let me say that it's always a pleasure to see you, and especially right here on your television show. We thank you so much for having us.
Well, thank you, Mayor. And I understand, Mrs. Jeter, that you work very closely with your husband.
Oh, mercy, yes.
Yeah.
And I also have some wonderful news for all you Americans out there who are fans of great teamwork. Donnie and Marie, move over. The Jeters are coming.
Well, Reverend, could I take this moment to introduce my two good friends here, old and trusted friends, I might add. They've certainly acted as our political mentors through the campaign thus far. They're both chairpeople on the state party. Let me introduce Angela Atwater and Buzz McGregor. This is the Reverend here.
Thank you, Merle. My party is very fortunate to be affiliated with Merle and Wanda Jeter. Merle is a man for the people. And Wanda, on the other hand, is a real woman for the people. Therefore, I'd like to take this moment to make American history. I take great pride in announcing the first co-candidates for the American presidency, Merle and Wanda Jeter.
And what party is that?
The Republican Party, Reverend. Actually, we're honored that we have been considered by one of the big two.
Excuse me, Merle.
There was
Merle, I'm sorry to interrupt.
for a while.
I hate to interrupt my candidate, but Merle.
Excuse me,
Merle.
Buzz is trying to say something.
Sure, I'm sorry, Buzz.
No, that's right. Look, we are not from the Republican Party.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
What party are you from, Buzz?
Oh, boy, this is embarrassing. We're from the Communist Party.
Of America.
Oh, he's joking.
A little levity there, Reverend. I think, actually, though, it was Abe Lincoln who said
no
it first.
joke.
And best,
No
if I
joke,
might add.
kids. We really are from the
Once
Communist
a
Party.
frog-
Of America.
Yeah, the CPA.
Is there something wrong, Mr. Mayor?
Is something wrong? You might say something's wrong, Reverend. You telling me that you're both communists there? Why didn't you tell us you were commies?
Wait a minute. I think it's fair to say that considering all of our appearances on radio and television, we're far better known to be communists than you're known to be anything at all.
Just back up a minute there, but Reverend, look, I can explain this whole thing. They come to us and saying they were with the party, and it was the party, that was the terminology they used, and it was going to be their time to knock off the Democrats, right? So we naturally thought they were Republicans.
Of course they were.
My Lord.
Look at them. Do they look like commies?
Well, what do you expect? Babushkas? Mao jackets?
Right on, Angela. How corny can you get? Look, let me tell you something, Merle.
Now, let me tell you something, Buzz. You're rotten slime. That's what you are. Now we've been snookered here.
All right, what? Snookered? You've gone and deceived us. You've gone and ruined our whole campaign.
Your campaign.
Hey, we've ruined them. We've ruined them.
Interesting habit. Hallelujah.
I thought they were Republicans.
We have presented Merle and Wanda Jeter announced their candidacy for the presidency of the Communist Party. We wish them all the luck in the world. God knows they're going to need it.
Wait just a minute. Wait a minute. I want to say something.
That's
here.
our show for this evening. Until tomorrow.
We are not communists.
Well, we are, and we are proud
They're
of it.
fetid.
Fetid?
We were good Americans. We'll be great presidents.
Snookered?
We are not a crook.
Get up now! Come on.
What do you want to see, the poorhouse?
That's my agent. Tell him to hold.
Come on, man. Unusual word. Give us best for
Fag? Fag? Come on, Mac. Go ahead. Come on, Mac.
What? Tom Hartman's on the telephone.
He's got her. He's got her now. He's going spinning around.
But he says it's better. Come on, Mac. There.
Oh, okay.
Oh, he really came down that time.
Charlie, listen, Charlie. Have you seen Mary?
Mary, no, I thought she was having a reunion dinner with you.
Well, we are. That's just it. I mean, Mary's. I don't know where she is. She seems to have disappeared.
Where'd she go?
I don't know. Christ, I wouldn't be calling you if I knew, would I? Listen, she's been gone about an hour. So let me ask you: are you sure she's not down there?
No, I haven't seen her. Listen, Tom, I'll drop by when the fight's over.
Break.
The end of the round.
Break.
Boy, are they fighting tonight, huh? Both fighters are kind of slow getting up here. I guess they're putting a lot into it. He's truly a gentleman, ladies and
I
gentlemen.
want to tell you something. Remember the side bets, Mac. Remember the side bets.
I know, George, all your money.
Listen, she's just a woman. Go out there and cripple her.
George, you don't understand now. You're talking about the woman there that I love. That's a woman I love, George. And I can't, she's some other opponent, I just mash her. But she ain't, she's a woman I love. If I lose sweat, Lana, I don't know what I'll do. I'll go crazy.
You want love? I'll give you Martha. I'll give you Kathy. I'll give you them both. Just get in there and win that fight.
All right, here's round three. Oh, right there immediately. Oh, Mac, do you really think you're giving these people a fair fight? Come on, Mac, get up. Get up. Svetlana is mad. She is mad, and he knows it. He's getting scared of her. Oh, no! Right down to the mat. Okay, she's on top of the mat. She's got, it's his own thing. She's using his own medicine. No, Swetlana.
You got a bigger stake than this than I do. What else you consider?
But you have your own friends to think about.
And you?
Me?
Yeah. I love you.
Me? You love me? Oh, me?
Yeah.
I have some story to tell you. Remember a story about stranded relatives? It's not true.
What?
I am how you call fake, a scam. I go all over the country telling same sad story, then in match. It's always the same, but with you it's different. With you I am also in love too.
With me?
Yes, you, cowboy. So kind, so gentle.
It's the happiest moment of my life.
Buy my body. My body. Buy my body.
If you really love me, Sweat Lanya. You forgive me for what I'm about to do.
Uh-oh, and he is mad. Here he comes, here he comes. Now they're back at it again. They're sparring. They're just looking for each other. Bugs is going to go for it. Oh, my God, he's got her up in the airplane. It's the airplane, ladies and gentlemen. You don't see this every day. That's about all there is to say. There's going to be the airplane. He drops her. He's got her in the airplane. He's on top of her. He's got her pinned. 1, 2, 3. That's it. It's all over. It's all over. It's all over. You lost it, lady. I'm sorry.
That's my boy! Kathy, we are on easy streets. Kathy.
Wanda! Wanda, darling! Did you make it back?
Who's there?
Get in, hurry.
Me? Oh, well, it's gonna be all right now. Oh,
It's gonna be all right, huh?
yeah.
That mob out there damn near lynched me, Wanda.
They're just a little cranky, that's all.
A little cranky, are they? I just want you to know one thing. You're responsible for this whole thing. It's your fault, Wanda. I just want you to know
Wait,
that.
just a minute, Merle. I trust that you are not thrusting responsibility, this debacle, on my strong but basically innocent shoulders.
That's your cheap odd job, I am.
Merle,
You brought me untold misery with those brilliant ideas of yours. First it was Lila, then you made me join that GGG organization. Then you took about away all the respectability I had left with that affair with that there black janitor.
No, I know, Merle. Look, we have survived worse crises than this, haven't we?
Not because we're Americans. Now half of Fernwood thinks that we're communists.
Oh, Merle, come on. What percentage of Fernwood is going to be watching a silly little show like that?
About 50%.
I'll get it. Oh. Hello. Yeah? Oh, yeah. Well, I'm disappointed, but I'm not really surprised. Yeah, thanks for calling. Bye. Well, Merle, I have some bad news for you.
Now what?
The Brownies are rescinding your honorary membership.
Well, that does it, I guess, in one.
Yeah.
I'm a ruined man. All my hopes and dreams going up in smoke right here. I guess it's time we just pack up and head for San Clemente.
Well, so you two finally made it home. I thought by this time the townsfolk would have rid you out of town on a rail, and I wouldn't have blamed them.
Mommy.
You are a disgrace to the family, you low-life commie jackass.
As I stood and stared, heaven knows what thoughts I must have stirred in the girl's mind. Finally, I...
Shut up, Mickey Mo!
Merle, it was that woman that named her child after you.
Yeah, and?
She's changing it back to Juanita.
Who'd want to name a kid after a commie anyhow?
Well, how are we supposed to know that Buzz and Angela were commies? They talked and they looked like regular people.
Regular people, Mom. Honest to God. And what are we going to do here now?
I vote for slash your wrists.
Something bad happened, didn't it?
Well, we're made of sterner stuff than this. At least I am. And well, we're Fernwood's first family. Look, whose word will the people accept? Ours or B&A's?
B&A?
Yeah, Buzz and Angela. Look, Merle, we're going to ride this thing through to the end. We're just going to deny everything, and then inside of a month, we'll resume our meteoric rise to power.
I just can't believe this. Wanda, you're my little rock, you know that? No, that little voice of yours with a positive attitude, making everything sound rosy. You do it every time. You know exactly the way it's going to be, and you describe it exactly to what's going to happen every time. And I love you for it.
Wrong again, Wanda. See what I mean? Boom! Get it!
What is it?
Read it!
Oh, Merle. A hysterical crank throws a head of Lincoln through a window and you go berserk. It says, I'm afraid this isn't your average run-of-the-mill crank.
What's it from?
Well, it's from the city council. Pending an investigation of your political activities, you're being temporarily suspended as mayor.
Finally caught up with you.
Oh, I'm ashamed to even live in the same house with you.
This then is it. The end of my political career, darling. I'm all washed up. I'm finished.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, I guess now even Mickey Moe and me won't be able to run for office.
Mary! Mac won the fight. Mac won the fight, and I won me a pile of money on bets. And George, your father-in-law, he's got himself a small fortune.
Yeah.
Plus, he got enough to pay us back the Linden Tap money which he borrowed from us.
Yeah, well, that's great. Listen, have any of you guys seen Mary? Have you seen her?
You mean she ain't back yet?
No, not yet, no.
She's been gone for hours then.
I know.
Well, gosh, Tom, didn't she say something at all to you before she left or anything?
Well, that's just it. I mean, I don't know. I don't really know. I was having such a good time, talking over things with some of the old gang from school. I didn't even notice she was. I mean, it's weird.
Yeah, it's kind of strange, isn't it? Especially since it's her own party that she walked out on.
Well, wasn't she having a good time or nothing?
What?
At the party?
Oh, you mean was she having a good? Oh, I don't know. I don't know. Look, I was hashing over things with the old gang from school. I was having such a ball. I wasn't paying any attention to her.
Tom, could be that maybe her feelings got a mite bruised on account of that, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah, probably, yeah. Yeah, I think you're right.
I bet that's it. Dollars to Doughboys. I bet that's it. She probably just went out, took a little walk around and stuff like that, like Jennifer.
Jennifer?
What? Yeah, in Love Story, Jennifer and Oliver, they got in that fight, and Jennifer had to go out and take a little walk around. Remember? Ollie flipped out and went crazy, ran all over town looking for her, couldn't find her, came back, there she was, just sitting larger than life, twice as pretty. It'll be fine, Tom. Of course, the only thing that spoiled that other story was Jennifer had to go off and die, but that was just a movie and a book.
Well, do you think she'll be back?
Oh, sure. Of course she'll be back, darling. Let me tell you something now. There's a little rule to remember. Lesson learned. Don't go having such a good time at these parties that you forget to pay attention to your lawful wedded.
Yeah, damn it. I do that all the time. I do it, and I don't mean to do it. But I'm inconsiderate and I'm thoughtless.
Tom, that's it. You gotta think. You gotta think, man. A successful marriage is like a second-hand car. You gotta work on it to keep it going.
Yeah.
Charlie, darling, that is the most beautiful words I have ever heard, like in a poem. Don't you think? Let me tell you something, huh? Now, if you want to know about successful marriages, you listen to my Charlie here, because he's a wang-doodled expert on the subject. Fabulous.
You guys are something, boy. You really are. You know what? You two, you got the secret to a successful marriage. I'll tell you that. You really do. Yeah, you do. I'll tell you, I learned something. I really did. I learned that I can't take Mary for granted.
That's right.
I can't. And I got to pay more attention to her, and I got to put a little effort into the relationship.
That's right, Tom. What it takes is a little effort.
That's right.
Plus a lot of you-know-what.
Faith in the Lord.
Yeah, that too.
Hey, I appreciate it. I really do. I appreciate you two guys coming over and talking to me, and thanks. I'm gonna think about what you said, and I don't mean to be rude or impolite, but I'm going out for a walk now.
Good idea, huh? Guess
Yeah.
what? You
What?
might see Mary when you're out
You
there.
think so? You really think so? I hope so. I really hope so, because I want to apologize to her, especially for the way I acted tonight. Yeah.
That's good. I got this little kind of stomach type feeling. It's about right here in the pit of my stomach, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it says
What?
that your marriage is going to be new and improved after tonight. All right?
Thank you. Oh, you guys.
It is.
You guys are too much. What the hell is this?
What is that?
It's a note from Mary.
Oh, does it say where she went?
Honey.
Well, what does it say, Tom?
Dear Tom, please don't be angry at me. There's a turkey loaf in the refrigerator. Just heated up at 250 degrees. I'm going to try to find my dream. Love, Mary. Oh my God. Oh, she did it. She's done it. She's run off with Foley.
Oh, criminy Tom. I'm sorry, man.
She's done it. She's really done it. Oh my God. Shouldn't turkey loaf be cooked at 300 degrees?
Yow. This is one of the very, very few episodes of the series so far that didn't feature any Louise Lasser. Mary Hartman doesn't show up in this episode. I feel like there might have been one very early episode, possibly two before this, but this one, I'm not sure if we're going to see her again. We start at Reverend Berryfield's show, the Fernwood Hallelujah Hour. Reverend Berryfield, I feel like, has been with us quite a while. I'd say at least since episode 44, I think, as the officiant at many of our funerals over the course of the series. And he introduces Merle and Wanda, and then Buzz and Angela, and for some reason I thought her name was Amanda for the longest time, but Buzz and Angela. And then Merle and Wanda talk about the coming campaign and how excited they are to do it, and point over to Buzz and Angela, who correct them on the party affiliation. Buzz and Amanda are members of the Communist Party, with whom the United States was in a pretty deep Cold War. We've already sort of addressed the Cold War issues last week when Svetlana was introduced. But for sure, being a communist in this era was not seen as a very good thing in America. And the Fernwood Hallelujah Hour ends in absolute chaos as we head back to the Capri Lounge, where the match is still in progress from the countout that we didn't see finished on Friday. And it is Mac still being hesitant to take out Svetlana's family. The bell rings and they go to round 3. I don't know the rules that they're using here exactly, but apparently you need the pin and there are rounds, which is unusual for professional wrestling. George does his thing for Mac and tries to get him out there, but Mac still doesn't want to hurt Svetlana's family, and not only that, he loves her. And they go back to the fight. Svetlana has him in a submission hold, and that's when Mac says that he doesn't want to hurt her because he loves her. And then Svetlana says, well, everything I've been telling you is a lie. I've been running around and trying to make money from people by convincing them to lose against me. And then things turn. And Mac looks over to George and Kathy and sees them freezing in the cold like Russian peasants. like from a story, right? Because I don't know what the existence of Russian people are. Then he says he apologizes to Svetlana for what he's about to do, and then he takes the win. He gets the pin. And as the room celebrates, Kathy collapses. Then we're back at Casa de la Chica Bonita, I think that's the name of the apartment, with Merle, who has clearly run through a riot to get there, and he's not sure if Wanda is even with them. Eventually, she catches up, and then Merle blames everything on her. I mean, sure, some of the things that have happened in their marriage have been Wanda inspired, but this specific thing, this was a them thing. Then Adeline comes out and calls Merle a commie, and Mickey Mo as well, who doesn't know what's going on. But apparently things are getting elevated as half of the town was watching the Hallelujah Hour and are outside ready to storm the castle. And they throw Lincoln Head through the window with a note attached from the city council saying that Merle is suspended from his mayoral duties. And if anything is positive to say about this scene, at least Merle and Wanda are back on the same page. They are with each other through this crisis. Speaking of crises, Tom is waiting at home, wondering where Mary has gone, as Loretta and Charlie arrive from the match and explain that George has lots of money now and is able to repay their loans and pay their bills and all of that. This conversation is about Tom and Mary, and the Haggers are there to sort of bounce back ideas and bolster Tom's comfort. Tom realizes at the party that he was having so much fun that he didn't notice her go. I don't know if I saw that yesterday, but that's how it's being read today. That's how it's being interpreted by Tom at this moment. Because, you know, at the party that I saw yesterday, he was doing his best. He was doing his best to make sure that people recognized Mary. It seemed to me that he noticed her not having a good time, but, you know, that's not how he remembers it. So he wonders what's going on, and as Loretta and Charlie suggest that maybe she just went out to take a walk. Loretta refers to the movie Love Story, which was very popular at the time, a novel and a book, and then spoils it. Come on. I don't remember when the movie came out, but I remember it was a big deal. But come on, don't spoil it. However, then as Tom goes out for his own walk, he finds a note and discovers that Mary has gone on the run. And as I said, I don't know if we're going to see her again over the next 10 episodes. I just don't know. So everyone, there's no question of the week this week, but I did want to do something since we're approaching the end. I hope to get back to the questions of the week next week. But for now, we have 5 days, so I think let's cover the entirety of Mary Hartman over this week. 2 bullet points, and I'll do my best not to spoil things. The first few weeks of Mary Hartman introduce us to the Hartmans, the Shumways, and the Haggers, and also immediately set us in a mass murder story that has happened around the block. Someone has murdered the Lombardi family and their 2 goats and 8 chickens. And that is a mystery that goes on for a little while. Not to mention Mary's grandpa, Raymond Larkin, who is introduced, and we find out pretty rapidly is the Fernwood Flasher. Loretta and Charlie Haggers embark on the path of getting Loretta into superstardom and schedule their first recording session toward that end. Mary and Tom's marriage is troubled because he's not that interested in sex. And that may be due to an unnamed erectile dysfunction. It's never ever exactly named why they don't have sex, why he's not interested in it. But as the events unfold, Tom has an affair with a woman at the factory named May Olinsky, and then Mary gets involved with the mass murder story directly. Of course, the whole Dennis Foley storyline is heavily intertwined with this period of Mary Hartman. Dennis has been giving Mary direct attention since the 2nd episode of the series. He appeared in the 1st episode as a phone call, but really pretty early on is giving her very specific and direct physical affection in public. We have other storyline tidbits like Roberta Wallachek, who is Grandpa Larkin's counselor that gets into a relationship with him, as well as Steve, Kathy's boyfriend, who happens to be deaf and mute. Mary spends a lot of this era of the series doing her best to improve her sex life because she doesn't understand what's going on with Tom. She spends so many episodes visiting the Fernwood Library, and every time she goes there, she's embarrassed to be looking for sex advice books. We get the appearances of Blanche and Leroy Fetters, who we talked about a little bit last week as the sort of grumbly family on the block. And as Tom and Mary start to reconcile the problems in their marriage, the Haggers get a visit from a surprise guest. That's all I'm going to share right now from the first 60 episodes of Mary Hartman, Mary Hartman. The episodes of Good Evening Fernwood that I shot covering that really, it's mainly my face because this was a show about me watching the series. I did cover 10 of these episodes during rerun season, so that's where we are. That's where you can catch those episodes. And if you really want to see the first 60 episodes, they are available online. Not going to name the site here, but just use Google and you can find them. So thank you everyone for watching along with me. I got a lot of laughs out of this episode for sure, and also I'm starting to yearn a little bit for what's going to happen next. Thank you so much for watching with me. Thank you so much for leaving your thoughts, feelings, and impressions down in the comments. Thank you for watching these Yes Deck episodes with me to come, and we will see you tomorrow night in Fernwood.